Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And this video is called What If Izuku Had Twin and They Both Have Villainous Quirks Part 2. Right? Now, before we get to the plot, I just want to explain some things first. First off, Inko never took either Izuku or Izumi to the quirk doctor. And this is because she couldn't care less if they had quirks or not, right? That wasn't exactly on her top list of things she should worry about, right? Because of this, both Izuku and Azumi originally thought they were quirkless, right? Because Izuku and Azumi were pursuing quirkless for like a really long time. And when the time came where kids started gaining their quirks, they were still largely in the dark, right? Izumi only found out what her quirk was a while back, right? Not that long ago. So, because of this, he's still working out all the kinks, right? Izuku, on the other hand, is still air quotes quirkless, right? He has a quirk. It's just laying dormant, right? But regardless of that, the second thing I want to talk about is Izumi's quirk as a whole. Now, her quirk is called Mind's Eye, and it's basically a mind control quirk. But the thing is, she needs to make eye contact with the individual before it can work, right? And also, she can only use her quirk on said individual for about 3 times before the effect is practically non-existent, right? However, if someone finds Izumi physically attractive, then she can use her quirks on said person. Then she can use her quirk like repeatedly on said person, right? She doesn't need to worry. She doesn't need to worry about the effects because they're basically permanent, right? As long as the person finds her physically attractive, that is, right? Now, with that being said, let's get to the plot, right? So, the last place we left off, Toga introduced herself to the twins, right? Now, we're going later on in the day where Izumi and Izuku can be seen walking home, right? And as they're walking home, they talked about what occurred, right? And Izumi was excited that both her and Izuku had a new friend, right? Izuku, on the other hand, was a bit wary of Toga. And this is mainly because there has been people who befriended him in the past, only to stab him in the back later on, right? Because Izuku's so smart that people will befriend him, and people will befriend him and use his intelligence to get by, and when it was said and done, they just dumped him, right? And other times, they a person will befriend him only to prank him and only to prank and or embarrass him, or both, in one way or the other, right? So because of this, Izuko has gained quite a few trust issues, right? Now, okay. So after a while, they arrived home, right? And they let themselves in, right? And as Izuko was closing the door, suddenly he 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 starts to levitate off the ground before being thrown across the room into the nearby wall. And the impact was so great that it immediately knocked him unconscious, right? And when Azumi saw this, she immediately began to panic, right? And she was like, Izuko, are you okay? Right? So as he starts running towards her brother, Inko appears from behind her and grabs Azumi by the neck, right? And lifts her up, right? Inko is basically choking her at this point, right? And Izumi is struggling to escape, right? And as he's struggling, she looks into her mother's eyes. And when she does this, she immediately knows that Inko is extremely drunk, right? Just by the way her eyes are like darting around back and forth, right? And and Inko was actually like there were tears streaming down Inko's face, right? She's like real emotional, right? So she's like crying. Well, she had cried, right? She cried before the twins got home, right? But anyways, and Inko, while having an arm wrapped around her daughter's neck, began to speak, right? And fair warning now, I can't really do voices, so I'm just letting y'all know. But let's do this. So Inko was like, it's your fault. It's all your fault. Right? And as soon as Inko said this, she wraps her other arm around Izumi's neck, right? So she was basically strangling Izumi at this point, right? And Izumi can't do nothing but... No, Izumi was like, please stop, right? She basically like tried to use a quirk, right? However, it didn't work, and that's because there's another factor that goes in with it. So Izumi can't Azumi's quirk can't really affect a certain group of people, and those people are alcoholics, whether past or present, um, people who uses any types of illegal drugs, right? And people who are just not in the right type of mindset, right? So because of this, her quirk had no effect on Inko, right? And Inko was like, "Shut up, shut up, shut up," right? And she began to strangle Izumi harder, right? Izumi at this point is Izumi at this point is Azumi starts to like pass out basically, right? She's seeing stars at this point. However, just before she does, Inko drops her to the ground, right? And before Azumi can even get up, Inko kicks her straight in the stomach, right? Sending Izumi flying a couple of feet, right? So after Inko did that, she picks up Izumi and Izuko with her telekinesis, right? Inko's telekinesis is stronger than it's basically stronger than canon, right? So she's much more stronger for telekinesis than Inko is in canon, right? So she's able to lift Izumi and Izuko up, right? So as she does this, she goes over to the basement and opens the door, right? And as soon as he does, she throws Izumi and Izuko in the basement, right? And when she does this, both twins immediately began falling down the stairs, right? So they falling down the stairs, and it's basically like, okay, so yeah, she throws them in the basement, and they both fall down the stairs, right? As soon as they hit the bottom, okay, and when they hit the bottom, both twins were very both twins are in very bad shape at this point, right? Izuko regained consciousness because when he fell, his arm dislocated, so that immediately jolted him back to reality. So he's basically like screaming his head off. And Izumi's faring no better because even though she's a lucky one because she was able to get past the stairs without breaking anything, her ribs were fractured because of Inko kicking her. So when they fell down the stairs, you already know how that felt like. Izumi made contact with every step, so she was also in a lot of pain, right? And as soon as and when they were all the way down there, Inko just shuts the door, right? So For like a few minutes, both twins just laid there unmoving. Both twins just laid on the ground, bawling their eyes out, right? After a while, uh, Deku forces himself to sit up and cuddle his sister, right? And unfortunately, this does little to help Azumi's emotional state. And she was like, why, why does she hurt us, right? Wait, matter of fact, hold on. Okay, so I'm actually gonna switch it up. So it's Azumi who's holding Deku, right? And not the other way around. It's just Azumi holding Deku, right? Because I think this is better. So Azumi was holding the crying Deku against her chest, and Deku, who's not feeling so well, says, "Why, why, why does she hurt us?" Right? And Azumi didn't answer right away because, number one, the position she put herself in right now is doing a lot to her ribs. But despite this, she doesn't put Izuku away. Because there's a few things you should know about Izumi. Number one, she's actually the oldest between the two. She's like 2 minutes older than Izuku is, right? And number two, Izumi has a very an extremely high pain tolerance, right? So she's able to ignore pain, at least for a while. That's what she's basically doing right now, right? So after like a minute or so, Azumi answers, right? And she was like, because she hates herself. And as soon as she said this, Izuku looked at her. And Izumi didn't say anything else. Like she didn't ask. She just left it at that, basically. Right? So the twins stay like that for a long time, right? And hold on, there we go. And they stay like that for a while, right? Eventually, Izuku calmed down. Izuku was calm enough. Yeah, Izuku calmed down somewhat, right? And once he was calm, he was able to reset his shoulder, because this isn't the first time something like this happened, right? So he basically knew he and Izumi basically knew what to do, right? Oh yeah, Izumi helped reset his shoulder, right? Izuku didn't do it himself. Izumi helped him out, right? Because at this point they both had the fair share of broken bones, right? Hold on. Okay, I see. So originally, I said that Inko was only verbally abusive, right? And I'm gonna say that normally she was, but under extreme circumstances, she would last out. And when she does, and when she did, bones would be broken, right? So I'm gonna say that to I'm gonna say that for the plot to make sense, right? So yeah, Azumi helped Deku reset his shoulder, and once that was done, uh, Deku once that was done, uh, Deku just sat in a corner in the basement with his knees curled up, right? Azumi, on the other hand, went further into the basement, right? And she disappeared into the darkness for like a few seconds, only to come back. And when she came back, she was holding All Might action finger, right? So she taps Izuku on the shoulder, and when he looked up at her, she offers said figure to her brother, right? And Izuku takes after a few seconds of hesitation. Izuku takes it, right? And once he took it, Izumi stepped beside him and put her head on his shoulder, right? And the two of them sat in silence for a while, right? For like an hour or so, until Izuku began to speak, right? And he said, "One day, when I become a hero, I'm going to make sure that no one will experience the pain we have to go through. I will protect those who are weaker." Right? Yeah, he said, "I will protect those who are weak." Right? Stuff like that. Izuku basically wants to become a hero to protect um individuals from to protect people from experiencing the pain and the pain him and Izumi has to endure, right? That's basically why he wants to become a hero. And as Izuku was saying this, he looked at the All Might doll. And he was like, "One day, I'm going to become just as strong as All Might." Right? And Izumi, she doesn't really have interest in hero work and stuff like that. She doesn't really care about that sort of thing. So she just nods, right? Because she knows in doing so, it will make her brother happy, right? So when she nods, of course, Izuku saw this and he smiled, right? So after this, they immediately after this, silence claimed them once more. I'm sorry, guys, if you heard my brother. I'm sorry. He's really loud. But anyway, so fast forward a while, and Deku and Izumi are in the basement for about 3.5 weeks, right? In almost complete darkness. The only light source they had was the near broken light bulb, right? That's the only light source they had was the light bulb above their heads that was almost completely broken, right? So, oh my god, bro, shut up! I'm trying to work here. He's annoying. So, anyways, 3.5 weeks went by, and in those few weeks, the pain in Izuku's shoulder didn't go away. It was practically near constant, right? Because he got nothing to help with the pain, and the same thing could be said for Izumi, right? Uh, okay. I don't know if I said that her ribs were broken or fractured. I would say they were extremely bruised. Yeah, I'm gonna say that instead. So yeah, her ribs were extremely bruised. So because of this, he experienced a lot of pain, right? So both twins were in near almost constant pain, and the only relief and comfort they had were within each other, right? And also, Inko would give him will only give him like water, right? So would not give him anything else, right? So from time to time, she would open the door and she would throw like 2 bottles of water down there and shut it and just leave it at that. So they did not eat anything for about 3 weeks straight, right? Now all this was going on. I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna cut back to Toga, right? So Toga, So Toga, when her father picked her up, right? She was excited at the prospect of making friends because she never was able to make friends before because of her quirk, right? So Izumi and Izuko would be her first only friends, right? And she was excited, right? And Toga liked Izumi because of her like friendly demeanor, and Toga just felt this like good vibe about her, right? Toga also liked Izuko, even though he didn't really say much when they talked. She still liked him because he helped her, basically, right? So on the car ride home, uh, Toga was humming happily, right? She was in a really good mood, right? She was cheerful, right? However, as soon as he got home, that all changed, right? As soon as Toga went through the door of her house, her father closed it before growling down at his daughter, right? And from the look on his face, Toga could tell that he was not happy, right? And before she could get a chance to explain herself, this man slapped Toga across the face, right? Full force, right? So Toga is now on the ground, right? She has a bruised cheek and she's seeing stars at this point, right? And Toga's father, he was like, "Get up," right? Toga, when Toga did a move, he repeated himself. I said, "Get up, you fucking brat." No. I'm gonna hold on. I said, "Get up, you fucking brat." Right? There we go. So, anyways, I just felt like making his voice deeper. So, anyways, Toga got up, right, slowly, right? And Toga's father crossed his arms and looked at her. And knowing what that look entailed, Toga immediately began to strip, right? Now hold on. Stay with me here. So, Toga immediately began to strip down until she was only in her underwear, right? And once she was done with that, she immediately went towards the closet. And when she opens the closet, there's a maid outfit hanging on the door. So she took said maid outfit and she immediately put it on. And once she did this, Toga's father, I'm gonna call him I for short. So I chuckled, and he was like, "That's better. Now be a good maid and clean up right now." And Tug was like, "Yes, father." Right? And Toga, after that, Toga immediately began to clean our house, right? She's doing the dishes, she's mopping, she's vacuuming, she's doing it all, right? Anything you can think of that's cleaning related, she's doing it, right? And once she was done, I called her back into the living room, right? And once Toga arrived, he was sitting on the couch. So once Toga hear him call her name, immediately ran over to him, right? And once he was like right in front of him, I looked at her, and he licked his lips, right? And immediately, Toga's eyes went wide with fear, right? But she kept quiet, because Toga knew that if she opened her mouth and or protested in any way, he would beat the shit out of her, right? With no hesitation, right? The last time she refused, I beat her so bad that she was motionless for like a week straight, right? So I looked at his daughter. He was like, "You know what to do." And Toga nodded. And I grunted, right? He grunted, and Toga immediately opened the mouth. She was like, "Yes, master." Right? So Toga turns around, having her face facing towards the TV, and bent over, right? And as soon as he did this, it's fucked up, I know, but stick with me. As soon as she did this, I stood up and began to unzip his pants, right? Now we're going to fast forward, right? I'm not gonna get into graphic detail, right? So fast forward, and after everything was said and done, Toga was in her room, and she was bawling her eyes out, right? Oh, in Toga's room, it's not really a room. Matter of fact, Toga doesn't even have a room, bro. She in the closet. So Toga's in the closet / room, and she's crying, right? And as he's crying, a pool of as he's crying, there's blood going down both her legs, right? And not only that, uh a there's like a human handprint, a human handprint around her neck, right? And she was in there. She was crying, and as she was crying, she thought about Izuku and Izumi, right? And when she did so, she felt like a little bit better, right? Just a little bit, and that's because she knew that she would get to see her new friends again, right? And her new friends, right? The only friends she actually have, right? And that thought brought a sense of a small sense of comfort. Like, it was tiny, but it was there nonetheless. So it brought a sense of comfort to Toga, right? And Toga was like, I can't wait to. No, wait, hold on. When you think about this, okay. So that brought a small sense of comfort to Toga, right? And just as hold on, what should I do next? Sorry, I'm thinking. Hold on. What should I do? Okay, so as Toga is thinking about her new friend, suddenly, the closet opens, and Toga looks up to see her mother, right? And her mother is glaring down at her, right? And she had her mother was glaring down at Toga, right? And Toga immediately tried to make herself as small as possible, right? But that did not help at all, because her mother immediately began to drag Toga out the closet by her hair, right? And she drags Toga to to the bedroom, right? Hold on, guys, hold on. I know where you guys to me, but that's not it. That's not it. Listen. So once she had Toga in the bedroom, she went on to the mom went on to I'm gonna call what's I call her mom? Teresa. Fuck it. Her name's Teresa. So once seeing Toga was in the room, Teresa closes the door and she goes over to the closet, right? And as he's rummaging through a closet, she says, "This is all your fault. Because of you, I doesn't even want me anymore." Right? That's the type of mindset she's on. Right? And as soon as he was done, as soon as he finished what he was saying, Teresa pulls out a pair of handcuffs and she pulls out some handcuffs, and she also pulls out a candle, right? So there's a lighter in the candle, so she pulls both out. So, see, Toga, of course, Toga couldn't, if Toga, no, okay. Toga wanted to make a run for it, but she knew that if she did, it would just be a whole lot worse. So she stood as still as possible as Teresa chained her up to the bed and once he was finished, Teresa got on top of her daughter, right? And using the lighters he had in her pocket, she lights the candle, right? And she then uses said candle to burn the side of no. She uses said candle to yeah. Wait. Oh wait, okay, I got. So she uses said candle to burn the side of Toga's face, right? I know that's not really how it works, but for plot's sake, that's just how it goes. So yeah. So Toga was immediately screamed, right? Because she immediately screamed in pain. She was struggling, right? And Teresa was like, "Shut the fuck up!" And she slaps Toga again, right? And when that didn't work, Teresa threw the candle to the side and just starts to wail on Toga, right? And she was like, "This is your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault. Oh, your fault. Oh, your fault."